The science of megaquakes. Before diving into history's most destructive events, let's first understand what makes an earthquake large. Earthquakes occur when stress builds up along tectonic plate boundaries, those invisible seams where Earth's plates collide, slide, or pull apart. Where the pressure exceeds the strength of the rock, the fault ruptures, releasing energy as seismic waves. We measure their size using the moment magnitude scale, which replaced the older Richter scale. Each whole number increase means about 32 times more energy released. So a magnitude 9 earthquake isn't just one step bigger than a magnitude 8. It's over 30 times more powerful. The biggest quakes in history all exceed magnitude 9. They are rare, maybe one every few decades. But when they strike, they are catastrophic. The 1960 Valdivia earthquake, Chile, the strongest ever. On May 22, 1960, southern Chile experienced the largest earthquake ever recorded, the Valdivia earthquake with a magnitude of 9.5. The rupture stretched over 600 miles along the Nazca and South American plate boundary. Entire cities were destroyed. The shaking lasted more than 10 minutes, an eternity for anyone caught in it. But the devastation didn't end there. The quake triggered massive landslides and a tsunami that raced across the Pacific Ocean. Waves struck Hawaii, Japan, the Philippines, and even reached as far as California. In Chile itself, coastal towns were obliterated by walls of water. The death toll is estimated between 1,000 and 6,000, with millions left homeless. Economically and geologically, it was staggering. Scientists learned from this event just how powerful subduction zone earthquakes could be, and it remains the benchmark for the big one. The 1964 Alaska earthquake, America's greatest tremor. 4 years later, on March 27, 1964, Alaska was struck by the Good Friday earthquake, magnitude 9.2, the largest ever recorded in North America. Anchorage, the state's largest city, saw buildings collapse, roads buckle, and neighborhoods sink as the ground liquefied beneath them. The shaking lasted an incredible 4.5 minutes, long enough to throw people off their feet repeatedly. The quake generated a massive tsunami that swept across Alaska's coast, killing over 120 people. In some places, entire villages were wiped away. Waves traveled as far as California, causing destruction thousands of miles from the epicenter. This event revolutionized earthquake science. It confirmed the theory of plate tectonics, showing how subduction zones could generate not just quakes, but massive vertical displacements of the seafloor that spawned tsunamis. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake, a global catastrophe, December 26, 2004, a day the world will never forget. A magnitude 9.1 to 9.3 earthquake struck off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. It was one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. The rupture extended nearly 900 miles under the ocean, lifting the seafloor by several meters. This sudden displacement unleashed a colossal tsunami that swept across the Indian Ocean. The waves reached heights of 100 feet in some places, striking Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and beyond. Within hours, they reached the shores of Africa. Entire coastal communities were erased. The death toll? Over 230,000 people across 14 countries. Millions were displaced. The sheer human tragedy shocked the world and led to the creation of new global tsunami warning systems. This earthquake showed us how interconnected our oceans are. An event in one place can devastate shores thousands of miles away. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake, Japan, a modern nightmare. On March 11, 2011, Japan experienced its most powerful earthquake ever recorded, the Tohoku earthquake, magnitude 9.1. The epicenter lay off the northeast coast, where the Pacific Plate dives beneath Japan. The rupture triggered a massive tsunami that struck Japan's coastline within minutes. Entire towns were swept away in seconds. Waves as high as 130 feet surged inland, carrying cars, ships, and buildings like toys. More than 18,000 people were killed or went missing. But the disaster didn't end there. The tsunami overwhelmed the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, causing meltdowns and radioactive releases that forced mass evacuations. It became the worst nuclear accident since Chernobyl. The Tohoku quake highlighted the devastating chain reactions megaquakes can unleash, not just shaking, but tsunamis and technological disasters that echo for decades. Other giants, Kamchatka, Ecuador, and more, while the Chile, Alaska, Indian Ocean, and Japan quakes are the most famous, history holds other colossal tremors. Kamchatka, Russia, 1952. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck the remote peninsula, sending tsunamis across the Pacific that reached Hawaii and New Zealand. Though fewer lives were lost due to the sparse population, it reminded the world of the Pacific's Ring of Fire. Ecuador, Colombia, 1906. A massive 8.8 to 9.0 quake struck along the coast of South America, generating a tsunami that killed 1,500 and was felt as far away as San Francisco. Lisbon, Portugal, 1755. Though predating modern measurement, estimates placed this quake near magnitude 8.5 to 9.0. It destroyed Lisbon, triggered fires, and generated a tsunami that devastated coastlines of Europe and North Africa. Philosophically, it shook the Enlightenment, with thinkers like Voltaire questioning how such suffering could exist in a supposedly ordered world. These events, though less remembered, played key roles in shaping science, history, and culture. Why did the largest quakes happen in the Pacific? You may have noticed that nearly all the largest quakes occur around the Pacific Ocean, particularly along the Ring of Fire. This region is a chain of subduction zones where oceanic plates dive beneath continental ones. Subduction zones allow for the accumulation of vast amounts of stress over centuries. When these faults finally rupture, they release unimaginable energy. The biggest earthquakes, those above magnitude 9, require huge fault zones, and subduction zones provide exactly that. That's why countries like Chile, Japan, and Indonesia are especially vulnerable. Megaquakes and tsunamis, a deadly duo. One of the most terrifying aspects of large earthquakes is their ability to trigger tsunamis. When the seafloor shifts upward or downward during a quake, billions of tons of water are displaced instantly. This generates waves that travel across oceans at jetliner speeds. Unlike wind-driven waves, tsunami waves stretch deep into the water column, carrying enormous energy. When they reach shallow coastlines, they rise dramatically, creating walls of water that engulf everything in their path. This is why so many of the deadliest earthquakes, Chile, Alaska, Indian Ocean, Japan, caused destruction not just from shaking, but from the waves that followed. Could a bigger quake happen? The largest quake recorded so far is Chile's 9.5 in 1960. But is that the maximum? Could Earth unleash something even greater? Scientists believe the theoretical limit for earthquakes is around magnitude 10. Such a quake would require an enormous fault rupture, possibly stretching thousands of miles. It would release more energy than any explosion in human history. A magnitude 10 quake would shake for over 20 minutes and generate tsunamis that circle the globe multiple times. Fortunately, such an event is incredibly unlikely in our geological time frame. Even magnitude 9 quakes are enough to remind us of Earth's terrifying potential. Lessons from the largest earthquakes. Each of the world's largest earthquakes has left lessons for humanity. Chile 1960 taught us the true scale of subduction zones. Alaska 1964 advanced our understanding of plate tectonics. Indian Ocean 2004 forced the creation of global tsunami warning systems. Japan 2011 reminded us that technological societies are still vulnerable, and disasters can cascade far beyond the shaking. These metaquakes reveal both the power of Earth and the fragility of human life. They remind us that our cities, our civilizations, rest on a planet constantly shifting beneath our feet.